Okay, thank you, Nate. So today you're going to talk about book creator. So whenever you're ready, please begin.
Okay, we're about a minute away. I wonder if people are jumping in, within a minute from now or that kind of thing. I've got 11:14, but
It is 11:14. Sorry.
but that's okay. No, I'm not bothered. We're good. It is now 11:15, so I'm not sure if we're going to get people jumping in. But anyway, thanks again, May, for hosting the session. I appreciate it. I'll tell you about myself in just a moment, but I will say I absolutely love this tool, which is why obviously I present on it. And May and I were talking about how some educational technology companies kind of evangelize, right? They spread their, get more people using their stuff by having these programs where teachers can do training, get certification, you can put it on your resume and that kind of thing. Everybody has a different value that they attach to it kind of thing. But towards the end, if you can remind me, I will tell you how you can become a book creator certified author. I'm what's called a book creator ambassador. They have a cohort once every year. There's about 1,000 people, I think now, but anyway, just gives you access to, like the account, the pro account and all that stuff. But anyhow, let me share my screen and kind of get started here since I think if most people are coming, then, all right, I'm going to share the sound as well. All right, so you can see this here, I hope. Okay, just let me know. You should see a slide that says digital books, storytelling, and more with book creator. So I'm going to show you some samples. I'm going to jump in and out of this slide deck for a bit. And today in this session, we are actually going to start working on a book together. So I will need email. I'm going to give you access to a book that's got all the features so you can play with it and make a decision whether, yeah, I really like this. And you can continue to edit it and that kind of thing. But anyways, May said, my name's Nate Gildart. I teach history and a subject called Individuals and Societies at Nagoya International School. So it's really kind of like humanities, history, politics, government, that kind of stuff. And I'll just highlight that I am a book creator ambassador, which just means I've done their training programs and been onboarded to, kind of do workshops like this on book creator. And again, a tool that I think is just versatile for everything. Now, so I'm not going to read through this because you saw this before, but at the end of the session, we are going to take a few minutes. When May says we got 5 minutes left, if you would like to get access to the free account for a year, or sorry, not the free, Book Creator is free, but like most programs, it's like a freemium, right? If you pay for the account, then you can get access to all the features. So I've got 2 free codes today to get access to all the features, and we'll raffle that at the end. And if there's only a couple of people participating, then congratulations, you got the code. But you do have to turn them in within a month. So I recommend that you actually access the code and activate it today if you do get it, but we'll do that later. Let's see, just mentioned that. If you want to keep in touch with me, I've got a YouTube channel, Twitter. I have a website called Social Studies Samurai where I have a lot of videos on things like this. I don't have Book Creator quite yet, I think, or maybe I do, but I also have a bunch of different slide decks in this one on my training website. You're welcome to copy anything, and if you do your own presentations, it's all open source. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about digital storytelling briefly. I'm going to introduce you and show you some examples of Book Creator. We're not going to have time to do Satori, which is a different thing, so kind of ignore that. But here are a couple of tips that I'm going to suggest when you use Book Creator. Know what you want to do when you start, because it'll make it a lot faster. If you're creating something for younger kids, then maybe you want to use the comic book feature. If you're creating something for older kids, you might want to build from scratch, but they do have templates, which I'll show you in a moment. Is it for an activity or for a whole unit? Are you creating a book? I've got one book, it's like 55 pages long, and it's all about these discoveries that changed the world, which was used for a jigsaw activity, but it was a huge book. Plan ahead. If you you can embed audio, you can embed quizzes like Google Forms and fun activities. So really think about getting your resources together before you create your book, right? Your book could just be 5 pages and nice and easy too, right? And yes, your students, if you have that pro account, you can get them in and they can create their own books. And know your style. I try to be consistent with what I do. Doesn't really matter, but I like consistency myself. So let me jump out and kind of show you some of the features here. So I'm going to show you a few books before we go to the dashboard and show you how it looks. Now, something I like to do, I don't get to teach this in the curriculum that I have, but I'm really interested in celebrations and holidays and things. So last year I started a project where I was creating books on things like the history of Christmas and Valentine's Day, really for now Western traditions, but I intend to dive into other stuff. But here's an example. I've got a background that I took from Book Creator. Notice I'm citing all my images here. This, I just put the text in and linked the text so that if I want to go to one specific thing, let's say you're doing a jigsaw activity, it'll take you directly to that page, right? And you see here, it kind of works like a digital book where you just tap on the arrows and you read through and advance to the book, kind of like that. Let me just go back to the beginning here. Whoops. Another thing I want to get better at that I don't do much is embedding audio.
The story of Valentine's Day. Every year on February 14th, people around the world give gifts, chocolates, and cards to their sweethearts. This is Valentine's Day.
Now I want to do that, just so, children that are less proficient in English, with whether it's reading, some read better than they speak and vice versa, but it just allows somebody to follow along as they hear. Note I put some background music, so I did a little production with that. These things take time, right? You can embed videos, right? So here, for example, is a pop-up. I've linked. You can open it in a new window if you want, but here I've got a YouTube video that is nice and short that the students can watch and learn a little bit more. Well, 14 minutes is a little bit long perhaps, but let me close that. And notice I've got images embedded as well. So let me just kind of pop through a little bit here. This one's fairly generic, but something that I like to do is kind of spark curiosity. Did you know? Just to get kids thinking a little bit more about whatever it is that we're studying. So I'm not going to go through every page of every book here, but here's one that I started using last year on the French Revolution. And what I want to highlight is I've used the panels feature here, so it looks a little bit more like a cartoon kind of thing. Notice I've linked here different 360 tours kind of deal. I think these are defunct now simply because Google made a change to their expeditions. Yeah, so I've got to go back and edit that book. That's what I thought was going to happen there. But note that you can link text. You can have full page images in the background if you want. Let me just kind of go through this a little bit more. This was more about source evaluation. The beginning is a little bit of background about why the French Revolution happened. And then they're looking at quotes of people in history. Louis the 16th on one page. The next page it's got Marie Antoinette. No, she did not say let them eat cake, or at least we don't have proof. Note you've got some fun little things here that you could use just to provide for your audience a little bit more. So I do want to point out up here where it says remix. This means what I've done is allowed other teachers to copy this book and then they can change it and modify it. Because the stuff that I make online, I want to be useful, but it's not necessarily useful for everybody else. Here's one, a little more serious one that I did with my students. I was inspired by an article that was in, I think, Black Star Atlanta or something like that. I can't remember. But, this is African-American communities destroyed by white neighbors, pretty heavy topic. So you notice the design for this is a lot more serious, and it's definitely designed for a high school or university age group. But again, I've got videos embedded and things like that. This is more informational. So I don't have like games and that kind of thing. Let me quickly show you. All right, so let me just come back here and make sure I'm not getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, a few things just about storytelling. Like you probably are aware, digital storytelling is just telling stories, but with a digital platform. And what I like about a lot of these tools, for example, Book Creator, it's multimedia. You can put in audio, you can put in video, you can embed quizzes and games and things like that. It's very multimedia. It can be as engaging as you want it. I'm not going to read through these, but as a teacher, it's an opportunity to create more interesting material, create your own book if you want, really, without worrying about, oh, do I publish it on Amazon or anything like that. It's your chance to do things like model creativity, academic honesty, citing your images and videos and that kind of thing. Well, videos don't have to be cited because it automatically takes you to YouTube, for example, right? When students make books, it's evidence of learning, right? They get their voice out there. They can demonstrate their learning. Yes, they can collaborate on books. I'll show you some grade 7 examples in a moment. Give them a sense of pride after they've made something really, really good, right? And you, as if you have the link, share it with the world, tweet it out, to parents and families, and create like a collection or a library of books that people can access. I mean, you could have an assignment where kids are creating a book in order to teach other kids, right? And through all that process, they're learning how to cite their work, how to take notes and do the research analysis and that kind of thing. They're working on their written communication, but also oral if they decide to add that audio in there. Again, this all takes time. So I'd say in the beginning, start with assignments like your book's got to be 5 pages, work with a partner. One partner has page 2 and 3, you got page 4 and 5. That way you can separately assess them. It helps them with their digital media skills and that kind of thing. Storytelling is great. Now, here are some things, as I have some water, I think are important for us to keep in mind. First is equity and honesty. I know putting a conflict unit together years and years ago with one of my subject areas, I realized that we weren't looking at conflict as a concept. We were looking at places where there's violent conflict. And I thought that's not just because human beings, there's conflict everywhere. So we've expanded that to looking at the Me Too movement or Black Lives Matter or economic problems in Venezuela. Those are all conflict that affect human beings around the world, right? So try to avoid stereotypes and things like that. And when you or your students create the book, especially when students are creating it, tell them to think about their audience. Who is this made for? What's your purpose? And then again, back to tips and tricks. Do your research first, get all of your material together, because when you go to build your book, you just have to copy and paste whatever you've written up and that kind of thing. So if you have your videos and your text and your images ready, then it makes it go much more quickly. Okay, so we're not going to create just yet. I want to show you the dashboard. So when you go to Book Creator, usually it takes you right into your library, the last one you looked at. So here's an example of some books, some grade 7 students made after an activity with grade 5 kids. We took photos over the course of 3 days, and then the kids went in. And if I was to play this book, notice I clicked play there. You can go through and you can see like the images, and this is the mind of a grade 7 student, right? Putting something together. It's taking a little time for this to load. Usually my Wi-Fi is quite good, but note they've taken some videos that we recorded, filmed, and put them in there. They put a couple of riddles in there for the kids. So after we did this activity, we shared it with our grade 5 classes, which we did this thing for. And then they had some fun. It's an archive or a documentation of what we've done. Lots of fun. So right up here, I'm going to click on edit and go back, and I'm not going to edit this book because one of my students, Layla, had made it. So we're going to leave that at that. And let me go through the dashboard. So here's your dashboard. You have an automatic, private My Books library made for you, but you can create a series of other libraries. Now, I believe you can only create 1 or 2 libraries with the free version. Right now, you're looking at like the pro account, right? So you would just simply click create a new library. Before we do that, though, I'll point out Discover. Here are books that other people have made, some books made by Book Creator. So you can search by grade level and that kind of thing. If you put out a book and tweet it out or put it on Facebook and tag Book Creator, before I became an ambassador, a few of the books I made, they said, hey, can we put this in our library? It's a nice recognition, when you've created something and the people that own the platform say, hey, can we feature that? So you can do that, actually. So I encourage you to check through that. And of course, if you need help, you can click on any of these and they've got tutorials and all that. And if you do want to become a Book Creator certified author, probably take you about 2 or 3 hours to go through these videos and then create a book, and then you can get certification, which then that leads to creating more books and maybe become a Book Creator ambassador and meet really cool people. So it's a really simple dashboard. So I've already created one here for session ELL. So as I create a book, I'm going to give you access to create your own book as well. So when you create a book, you're just going to click plus new book and think about what you want your book to be. Okay. For me, I'm not going to use the comic section feature. I'm going to use the landscape. I tend to do all landscape. But you could go portrait and make like a magazine style thing. If you click on the templates tab at the top, you can scroll down and they've got different themes and things like that. And they've got like, for example, a magazine template. You can click on that and go through the different magazines and choose one. But I'm going to start with a blank one. So I'm going to go with landscape. So note, all you have to do is click new book. But the thing is, how do you get your book? All right. So this is what you're going to do. How many people do we have in the thing here, May? If you could just verbally tell me.
We've got 5 people.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, you might have to create an account, but for now, if you could if you go to bookcreator.com, you're going to be able to include a code. This is a code that will give you access to a library, and then you can create your own book. So I'm going to keep that up there for a moment, and maybe May, if you could type that into the chat, all capital letters. Now, conversely, if you give me your email address, I can give you a Google form if you want to get in the raffle for a free book. Then I can mail you directly. I'm going to need, if you win the free book, I have to email you actually, or not the free book, but the free account. Let's see, we're going down here. Thank you very much. Let me close this so people can see it. If you can just refresh my memory, I think you might have to create a teacher account to access this. And let me just get out of here. It's not allowing me to escape. There we go. Let me come back here. And just, whoops, as people are following along. Okay, so you're going to see this create an account. Let me just project that, actually, it might be easier to see. Okay, so create a free account. You're going to want the teacher sign in, not the student sign in, and then whatever platform or mail you use, Google, Microsoft. And then you're going to choose whatever your account is, like whatever email that should pop up. I hope I'm not going too fast. If I am, please tell me to slow down and review again. And again, then you'll see the dashboard, and you're going to go to the Sessions ELL library. And I'll give you a moment to do that because we want to play a little bit here, right? Book Creator, it's quite playful. So okay, I'm going to pop out of this. And again, if I'm going a little bit fast, please let me know and I'll slow down here. So this is a book that I've made. I'm going to go back here to my books. Because I want to see the library. I want to see if we have other books in here. So there's one book and one author in the library. So I'm just going to wait for people to jump in. You should be able to create a new book. How are you with that? I'm just going to tap in here and give a title. I'm just going to keep it simple and say Session ELL Demo, but this is where you're going to change your book. Maybe put your name or something, or down here too, you can see where you can play the book. You can click on the sharing feature. So if I want to publish it or collaborate with other people and work together, we can do that. You can also download it as an ebook. It'll create a PDF for you, which is quite a nice feature. And if you're on the library here, you can import other books, or you can change the library that the book is in. And you can even combine books. If you have students working alone with the same theme, then they can take their books and put them together and do a little bit of editing perhaps. Okay, now I'm gonna come back here and just see if people are in. So we still only have the one book. Let me get a temperature check here. I'm gonna come back to the Zoom.
Hi there.
Hey there. Are we doing okay, folks? Or
I'm already I'm already on Book Creator. So should I use that code to?
You should use that. Yep. And there's the code. So use the code, which is in the chat as well. Whoops, let me keep the code there.
Sorry, Nate, how do I use the code? Where do I enter it in?
Okay, tell you what, maybe the easiest thing to do, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to ask May to share her screen, if you don't mind, if that's okay. And then we'll walk through.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Yeah, this is always one of those tough little ones here, but we do have time. We only need about 15 minutes to kind of play, so we have lots and lots of time.
Okay. I'm sharing my screen now. So this is what I have. This is the book that I was playing around with. So
Okay.
Okay,
you've got everyone's new books. If you could, let's see, click on the gear wheel at the top right that you see here.
Okay.
Okay, pops. No, that's not what you want. Tell you what, let's do it this way, folks. All right, let me just come out for a moment here. I always tend to have a little bit of problem with this. Search, okay. Hold on one second.
Join a library.
Did you, yes, where are we at here?
So I just went to the menu.
To the dashboard, yes.
Dashboard, and I will join the library and I will put in the code.
Please do. All right, so go to the hamburger in the top left. That's what people tend to call it, the hamburger. Click join a new library, or join a library, sorry. Copy and paste the code into that.
Okay.
Okay, so you see the session ELL demo right there. Go up and click new book.
New book.
Okay, and then choose, whatever you want, a comic or landscape. Okay, and so that's going to be your book.
Okay.
Now, if you want, you can go back to My Books, click on that.
Okay. And that's a new
and
book.
Where it says a new book right there, it's got your name there, but where the new book, you can change the title right there.
Okay.
Okay, so find your name and where your book is. Let's make sure everybody gets on. This always takes a few minutes, folks, so please just be patient. Following, lovely. Yeah, you don't have to go in and create a book here, folks, if you don't want to. I think it is more fun if you, play along and experiment yourself, right? My first book, yay. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into the hamburger here. And so we got 4 authors in there, which is great. So that means there's a few people in there. Do we need to wait any time, or is it just we're going to follow along kind of thing?
Should I stop sharing my screen, or should I continue?
Yeah, if you could stop sharing your screen, and then I'm going to share mine. So great. Let me go back to the desktop. Click share here. Okay, wonderful. So again, just to let you know, it's right up here. Go to the dashboard, and when it says shared with me or join a library, you're going to click join a library, and then that's the session ELL library, and then you're going to choose new book. I've changed my title to session ELL demo, but you notice we have other books here too, right? So I'm going to go back to my book, and if you mouse over, you see the edit pencil here, right? So let's click on that, and here's your book. All right, so the question is, what do you do? Now, something again I like about Book Creator is that it's really quite basic. The play button to see how your book looks if you share it online. You've got the inspector, which gives you backgrounds and colors and things like that. So I think what I'll do for this one is just put like a bit of a background. I'm going to go with a dark green. No, I'm going to go with purple. Purple's cool color. But again, you have patterns and things like that. Notice the plus button. If you were to click on that, you could actually copy and paste in a hex code, or you could scroll through and get that particular color that you like. Now, let's say, for example, let me tap out. You tap out to close these things, by the way. Well, let's say I want to put a picture in there. Well, let me go with picture. I click on my plus button, and notice it's got shapes. So this is where you can get your call outs and things like that. You can search by using your voice. Book Creator, in terms of text, with the voice recognition, I'm not 100% sure, but with using text, it identifies 120 different languages. So you could create a book in whatever language you choose, whether it's Burmese or Japanese, and whatever, Korean. So I'm not going to put that in right now. I'm going to go again, just to show you. I'm clicking on the plus button, and I'm clicking media. And if I want, I can import different things. So I can search for an image. I can go to Google Drive. I could upload a file, which creates a little file thumbnail, like a PDF. You could embed a map if you want. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to search for, let's see. I think it's Shirotori Kofun in my area. Let's go with that. Yeah, okay. So this is a kind of a cool kofun in the area where I live. In fact, I'm going to go with this one because it's landscape. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm creating my title, right? So I've got the purple background. I don't like that. Actually, what I do is usually create a book. Now, this is the only way you can size it is, whoops, look at that. You size it by clicking and dragging, and then I'm going to put this kind of in the middle. Almost in the middle, not quite. Maybe I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Yeah. So you see how I'm creating my book cover? There we go. And if I click play, I can see there's the spine of the book, and I'm going to go back to edit up here to keep editing. Please, yeah, interrupt, unmute, and ask questions. Okay, I'm going to now add some text. I'm going to click text and I'm going to put Shirotori burial mound. And I'm going to put Kofun, just because my audience is going to be people who speak and read English. Now I could bold things if I want. I can just select particular text to bold. You do that, and maybe Kofun I'll italicize. If I want, I can link external websites to the book, but I'm going to click done. But oh bummer, I don't like the look of that. So what do? I click my inspector. And I'm going to raise the size of it. Well, that's way too big. If I want, I could type in the number, the size I want as well. Obviously, the color doesn't work for me, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to use my back arrow, and I think I'll put a shadow on it. See how that looks. Okay, I've got a shadow in there. Let's see. I'm going to go with no, don't need the background. Maybe I'll put a background color in there. Maybe a little bit of yellowish. Nope, I'm going with none. Doesn't float my boat. I don't like it. So the shadow might stand out if it was a different, different image. I might pull this over here a little bit. No, I think I kind of like that. I'm going to click play, see what happens. Yeah, I think that's okay. I would take my time though and play a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is add 2 pages. Am I going too quickly? I know people are watching, but they want to play as well.
I'm doing well, I think.
Okay, so if you're looking at your own book, actually just try to look at me for a moment right here, because I'm trying to set you up for like adding stuff, right? So right here, this arrow here is how you look at the different pages, but it's also how you add a page. So I'm going to click here, and there's my next page. So I'm going to go to plus, and I think for this one, let's see. No, I didn't choose the cartoon comic features, so what I'm going to do is go to shapes, and I don't think I'm going to add a shape here. I think what I'll do is import a map. So I'm going to type in Shirotori Kofun, and so tumulus, yep, which is also a burial mound. I'm going to click add, and so now I have this map. I'm going to click on it, resize it though. I think it's a little bit too big. Okay, and I'm going to pull that down here. Believe it or not, that's actually not accurate. So you want to be careful with maps and things like that. Make sure you have the right one. I do notice someone in the chat here. It's great. It's totally great for young learners. Oh yeah, and hey, listen, kids in grade 3 can use this thing. So, and there's an iPad version as well if kids are on iPad, and yourself as well. I think what I want to do, let's say I'm personalizing this. I'm going to add something from my camera. I'm going to take a photo of myself or record a video. First, let's take a picture. Okay, if I like it, I'm going to click use. And think about this. You could create a book that is actually an introduction to your students about who you are and what the course is about and that kind of thing. So, like a course book trailer, for example, is something you could create. I've thought about that. I haven't done it. So there's a picture. Maybe I want to add like a call out. So I'm going to take that and maybe I want to put it right there. And I double click. Hi, everyone. I'm Nate. And of course, anyone that was in my last section is well aware that I do not type very well. Let me go to the inspector and let me see here. Color, I want to make that kind of background green. Maybe put a shadow on it. Let me go to the border color. I could change that if I want. Let's see, we're on the page. No, don't want to put the page in there. Maybe make that just a little bit bigger, a little more playful. Let's see. Oh, and maybe the color, border color. Yeah, we'll keep it at black. How's that? If you don't like the text here, then you can just add. Sorry, click the plus button and then choose to add text. If you don't like the limited option there, let me add another. Go to the camera. So I hit my plus button. Go to camera, and this time I'm going to record a video. Hey everybody, my name is Nate and welcome to the class. I'm so excited to teach you about Japanese history this year, which is why I've got Shirotori Kofun on the cover of this book. We're going to be making books together and we're going to love it. Anyway, you get the idea, right? So if I like the video, now remember, this is not on YouTube or anything like that. It's embedded within Book Creator. But again, for those audio learners, fantastic. I recommend you not record videos too long. Just make them little short clips kind of thing. And again, the reason is it does take a little bit of time for it to load. While that's happening, I'll check the text. I was going to ask about iPad version. Great. Yep. And yep, it's the free app kind of thing. While that's loading, I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. There we go. There's my ugly mug right there. Let me put it in the right place. I think you get the idea here, though, of what we're doing, right? Get that? I think that balance is not too bad. Hey, everybody. My name is Nate, and welcome to the class. I'm so excited, right? So that's kind of cool. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is right-click, and I'm going to lock it. If I like these elements, I can right-click, and I can lock them. And this is really good if you're creating a template, right? So that way, when I go to add things, they're not going to be all over the place. If you want to, you can unlock them. And then maybe I want to, let's see, move that to the back. And you notice now this is in behind. Oh, whoops. I think I'm going to change that. I'm going to move it to the front. And then I'm going to lock it. Let's see. So let me go with a pen here. Okay, what kind of pen am I going to use? Maybe, yeah, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There's my eraser. Let me change the color, though. I'm going to go with a kind of a yellowish kind of thing. And now I'm going to go right here. That's my highlighter. That's me. And maybe I want to highlight this on the map just a little bit. And I'm going to click done. And so now I've got a few things highlighted. Of course, I would take my time a little bit more and that kind of thing. Now I want to create another page. So I'm going to click my arrow. I've got another page in here. And if I click here on pages, then I can click and drag and I can rearrange them a little bit, right? And then I just have to tap and then I can start editing my second page. So I'm going to go to plus and I'm going to import, and maybe I want to embed a video. So if I have a YouTube video, let's see, is that, no, that Napoleon one's not there still. Let's go with, actually, you know what, I'm going to go with my YouTube channel. Let me just grab something. I have a little project I'm working on where let's go with my playlists. I learn about places in Japan, and I have a 360-degree camera, and I take videos. But for the sake of this, let me just click on that one. Keep the audio off here. And so this is Mitsumine Jinja in Chichibu area. Ridiculously interesting place. I recommend you go. So I'm going to post that, paste that there. Notice here you can post things from Spark. That was the last session we did. You can get Flipgrid and Google Forms and that kind of thing. Okay, so I like it. The title, I'm just going to keep the same, and I'm going to click add. And so now when I go to play, when students click play, they get the pop-up and they can choose to view, like a little bit, maximize the view. That's pretty cool, eh? So I'm basically just talking about Mitsumine Shrine. But I've got it done with a 360 camera and microphone, which is pretty cool. So let me go to edit again. So the top left. And let's say, now I'm just going to go to this Google form that I'm going to use for you later. So I go back to editing and I'm going to import something. And let's go with embed again. You could use an embed code as well if you want. So I'm going to click that, book creator invitation. I'm going to click add. And so it's got my little thumbnail here, right? So maybe I'll make that a little bit bigger. Let's see. I want the sizing to look kind of good. Obviously, this isn't well balanced, but for the sake of the session, we'll just keep it simple. And I'm going to lock it. All right, so you're a little bit limited, but when you do go to play the book, there it is. They just have to click on it, and then it's going to open it up, and then people can fill out the form. So let's say you've got 4 pages of reading, and then you want to do a quiz afterwards, you could do that. And of course, you could put in Kahoot or Quizzes or Quizlet or, pretty much anything that has an embed code you can put in. Now, let me just click File and Import, and I'm going to import a file. All right, so let's say there, I want to put a file, a light bulb, an image kind of thing. But let me see if I've got Let me see if I got a PDF file in there somewhere. No PDFs on my desktop. Nope, there's one. Just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to put that in. All right, and so there's what PDFs kind of look like when you put them in, make it a little bit bigger. Again, it's multimedia. You can just add a whole pile of different stuff, right? And again, if I don't like where that is, I go to the top. Let me just go back here. I go to the top here and I click Pages, and I'm going to click and drag that one right here. Let's see. Let me click back. Well, yeah, and then I could, and again, you can click on any page you want to go. Let me see. Now, if I want to record, let me go back to the other page. Let's say on my title here, my cover, I want to record myself saying something. Welcome to our class on Japanese history. This year, we're going to learn about so many interesting elements from the Jomon period right up until the 20th century. So jump in, share your stories, teach me about your Japanese history. Okay, and if I like it, I can listen, but it automatically goes to the middle, by the way. So when I hit play, welcome to our class on Japanese history. This year, we're going to learn about so many interesting elements. Okay, now let me go to the next thing here, because you notice this feature up here, it says read to me. Now I don't have any text in here, but what it'll do. Hey everybody, my name is Nate and welcome to the class. Okay, let's jump ahead. And sorry, I had to mute that, but what will happen is it will read all of the text that you have and it'll start your videos for you. So, audio learners can have that text read to them as well. So I'm going to click stop reading, but that would be if you had a larger piece of text, for example. Let me go back to one of these other books.
Question in the chat.
Great, let me just show this.
Knoxville, Tennessee race riots, August.
So you can change the pace that it reads, and you can change the voice to male, female, British accent versus whatever. So let me get to the question here. Thank you, May. Can you make a book and have 100 students edit and put things like audios and check everything? Yes, you can. 100 students, I'm not sure. I would think for your sanity, if you had say 10 books with 10 students each, that would be the way to go. Again, to have people collaborating, it is the paid version. But what you could do is have each student create their own book and then share the link with you. But then there's 100 links you got to go through. But who knows, you might win the free pro account for a year here. So we'll see. But yeah, then you can go in and you can check it and assess it and that kind of thing. Now we're getting close to time here. I do want to show a couple of things, for example, here, I'm in my book, right? In the edit version, I can click here to publish online. I can collaborate here by clicking that. Sorry, I'm going a little bit slow here. But you can invite people in. Okay, sorry. You can have different settings. Here's where you can change the voice, for example. You can play multimedia, or if you don't want it to automatically play, you can turn it off. You can automatically turn pages or allow people to do it on their own. So that's where you're going to see this. But what I want to do is get out of the book and I want to go back to my books. And so here, now I'm going to start collaboration, right? Let me just close that though. Everyone in this library can edit this if I want. So again, if you're having students make books, you'll want them to join your library and then they can create a book from in there. If I tap here, this is where I can import other books or I can copy other books and then edit it. So if I use one book as a template, then I can, click here and make a copy and then make my second book. And then maybe at the end of a year, take all those books as chapters and then put them into one single big book if you want, because you can combine books. And tap here, again, you can download it as an ebook. You can publish it online. If I click there, I can make it public or private if I want. I can allow people to remix, meaning make a copy of it. And of course, I can put a description of the book in there and then click publish online. I'm not going to do that right now. So essentially, everyone, those are the features of a book creator. It is a pretty simple tool. And we need your help. Love it. All right. So I'm going to share my screen still. I want to copy that address. Now, because we only have 6 minutes left, I think it's time to kind of get to, hey, who can get that book account, the pro account that is. So I'm going to share this in the chat. Your name, if you could give me your name and your email address, because I do have to send it to you. I don't need your full name, just your name, first name and email address. And this is only if you want to get 1 year free code for the for Book Creator. So let me just stop sharing my screen and come back here. And if I can post that in there. And then what I'm going to do is not share my screen. I'm going to go get everybody's names, and then I'm going to put them in a wheel of names, and we're going to find out who gets the 2 free codes. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I will remind you, please access and activate the code like today. You have 1 month to do it, but I have had people in the past forget about it, and they lost access, and I can't get access back if once it's expired, it's expired. Okay, so let me just go back here. Let's see. Okay, we got 1 response in there. Again, you don't have to, folks. And as those come up, I'm going to pull up wheel of names, close a few tabs because they're huge. Okay, let me see if the other names have come in here. Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to get the names in the wheel of names here. Okay, I might have to wait. I think how many people get in here? 5 or 6. So I don't want to exclude anybody here. Again, folks, this is an invite code. So even if you think that maybe I won't use this. Oh, actually, there's only 4 of us here, so I think that's it. It's a 3. Okay, good. I wish I had 3 codes, everybody. I'm so sorry. It's gonna be a drag if you don't get it, but I only have 2. And if you think you can't use it, just give the code to somebody who you think will. All right, so let me share my screen here. I'm gonna keep the audio on because Wheel of Names does have audio. Okay, are we ready to go?
Oh, yay.
And it'll pop up. All right, Tristan, so I'll send you the code today. I'll get your name out of here. I really wish I had 3. I think I'll email and ask. Yeah. Okay, so Ellie and Tristan. Sorry, May, you've volunteered your time to host. No good deed goes unpunished.
It's okay. Ellie, you're saying you'll give it to me if I want it. Thank you, but only if you're not going to use it. If you're going to use it, please enjoy it. I'll ask my university to get me an account.
Yeah, and if you can't do that, let me know, because I've got access to 1,000 books through the ambassador program kind of thing. So I could just make a library for you, and then you could invite students in. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, really, we've got a few minutes left, but that's kind of it. I'm going to continue that access to those books there that you have if you want to keep building on that book and work on it. It's a separate library, so it's no inconvenience to me or anybody else. So if you'd like to keep working on that book, go for it. But of course, Tristan and Ellie, you've got your own pro account now. I'll mail you those codes ASAP. I've got to head out, but I'll get that done right away. So again, May, thank you very much for hosting the session. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Nate.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, it's really great. I feel like it's been a treat for me.
Yeah, it's a cool tool, isn't it? I really like it a lot.
Yeah, you can see I created a little book.
I did. No, keep creating. I mean, that's the idea. Us as teachers can flex our creative muscles as well, right?
Sorry, I've got to switch my video off because my computer's like, it sounds like a helicopter right now. But we do have a couple more minutes, so if anybody has any questions, please continue.
I'm glad people are excited to try this tool with your students. It's great.
Yeah, can I ask a question about the pro account? How
Please
does
do,
how,
yes.
yeah, how does it work for schools? Like, do you have to get one pro account for the whole school and distribute it to the students?
Yeah, you could, I mean, you could get a school wide license, and then each student can get their own account with full access and that kind of thing. You could just get like a one individual pro account as well. Like that's what you're going to get is a pro account. But then you can invite your students in as collaborators. All they have to do is create a book creator account, and then you invite them into like you create a library, maybe by the different course names that you have. And then you can invite them in and they can collaborate. So that example with the grade 5 books made by grade 7 students, all I did was invite the students into that library, and then they all created the 3 different books. Actually, there was grade 4 or 5, 3, 4, and 5 actually joined us. So there's a book for grade 5, there was a book for grades 4, and a book for grade 3. And all I did was invite the students into my pro account. We don't have a school license for book creator. So that's what you would do.
Cool, thanks.
No problem. Hey, and if I'm going to post my name, my email address in the chat. I'm also going to give you access to the slide deck that I used. Just wait one moment. Okay, let me copy that and I'll throw that in. You can email me anytime if you have questions about this. I'm happy to get back to you. It might take a few hours or a day, but if you're trying to do something you're not sure, just say, hey, I got my, my pro account, but I'm having trouble with this. Please do not hesitate. I'm here to help.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is the end of the session, and I'm going to stop recording. And thank you again, Nate, for a really wonderful presentation.
Thank you, May, for hosting. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Nate. That
everyone
was
for
great.
coming. Thank you. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.